Okay, everybody, we need to talk. Cristiano Ronaldo is a playable character on Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. This is arguably the biggest marketing move in the history of the fighting game genre. There has never been something as big as this when it comes to marketing for a fighting game, and we just need to debate, and discuss the scale of this. Like, what are the potential future consequences and implications of Cristiano being on Fatal Fury? Like, what is the limits now for SNK? We just need to talk about it and how this could shape the future of art of fighting, KOF, and even more. So let's get into it. In any case, you don't know, Cristiano Ronaldo is arguably one of the most famous people on earth. Like, he's one of the top 5 or top 10 football players of all time. Football is arguably the biggest sport in the world. And of course, he's also even like one of the most famous people on social media. Like, he has a ton of followers on Instagram. I think at one point he was the person with the most followers on Instagram and other platforms. He also has a YouTube channel with millions and millions of subs. So this is immense. It's the biggest marketing move ever for fighting games. And what is going on with SNK? Like, of course, they are tied to Saudi Arabia because of the business that is going on there with SNK. Ronaldo, in any case you don't know, also plays in the Saudi league. So he plays football on Saudi Arabia currently. And it is just absolutely insane that this is actually happening. But what does this mean for the future of SNK? Like, which guest characters are we gonna get on next seasons of Fatal Fury, or even for other IPs or other fighting games? So the first thing to understand is that, one, Fatal Fury is gonna have more guest characters on Season 2, like it's already confirmed from an interview with SNK. The second thing is that SNK right now is supposed to be working on a reboot also for Art of Fighting, not only for Fatal Fury. And at some point, of course, we are gonna get KOF 16. And in all those situations, we could get even more crazier guest characters like Cristiano. So who could be on those games and what could happen? Because there's no limits now, like anything can happen. My first guess personally would be to basically have more guest characters that are in some way tied to Saudi Arabia, because Cristiano is on the game, of course, but he's connected to Saudi, and Saudi, or the Saudi Arabian prince or something like that, is currently like a huge stake owner of SNK. So that is probably one of the big reasons why this is happening, and there is very big public figures that also have connections with Saudi Arabia. For example, Messi, which is basically the rival of CR7 in some ways in football, actually has, a connection with Saudi Arabia, and he's like an official tourism ambassador in Saudi. So we could actually get Messi on Fatal Fury or other game. Like, if we're getting Cristiano, why not Messi? It can happen. Like, I would not be surprised if it actually happened, and it would be absolutely insane, of course. Another absolutely insane thing that could happen, and it makes a ton of sense, is that the WWE has a big contract with Saudi Arabia for events and business. So what if we get someone from WWE into Fatal Fury, or Art of Fighting, or KOF 16? We could get something like Roman Reigns, or something more classic, like Stone Cold or The Rock. I mean, it can happen, man. It makes even more sense. Like, they are wrestlers, and the WWE has a huge multi-million-dollar, business with Saudi Arabia. So maybe WWE in SNK games, SNK fighting games, I would be super hyped for that, because it's actually thematically correct, and it would be pretty fun to see someone like Stone Cold on Fatal Fury, man. It would be insanely hyped. I would be super happy with that. And again, it's likely, or it can happen. Like, we have Cristiano. Why not someone from WWE if they also have, some business tied to Saudi? Like, anything can happen now. Of course, the other most likely thing is that we're gonna get like SNK characters going into other franchises. Like, maybe we could get KOF characters on Fatal Fury and stuff like that, and basically crossing the IPs. It is likely, I think, that it can happen, and it could be very easy to execute. So that could also, be part of the reality when it comes to the guest characters of Season 2 for Fatal Fury, or for Art of Fighting, or KOF 16, or even another fighting game IP from SNK, a new one or an old one coming back. So that is also very likely. But now let's talk about potential, like, very unlikely things, but that is still could be present in the future in maybe new games or, returning franchises. Now, of course, SNK is like the video game developer or company that has the biggest Saudi Arabian money on. Like, Saudi Arabia basically has full control of SNK right now. They have all the money in. but there is other video game companies that also have stakes taken with Saudi money, not as much as SNK, but still a ton. Like there is Saudi money on Nintendo, on Capcom, on EA, on Take-Two, on Activision Blizzard, on Nexon. So there's a ton of video game companies and developers that have some connection to Saudi, that in some way SNK could take advantage of that and their influence in the region and basically make some sort of business to put characters from those companies on their games and basically make more big marketing moves. From Nintendo we can get a ton of things, but I see it, it is not as likely, even though you gotta understand something, and that is that even if we don't have a ton of money from Saudi on Nintendo, SNK has a stretched relationship with Nintendo because there is a ton of SNK characters that, for example, are very connected to specific Nintendo developers, like for example Sakurai from Smash, which loves SNK games. So there are some relationships there. It's not like it's not connected, and of course both of them are Japanese devs, Japanese companies, so there is some ties there. With Capcom, we already have guest characters from Capcom on the first season of Fatal Fury, and from EA, Activision, Nexon, there's a ton of like characters that you could get from there, but they could probably be not as realistic, but it's still, maybe a character from like Diablo from Activision or from Overwatch or whatever, anything can happen now. But it is very cool to see that SNK is putting, the big money that Saudi is using in the company to move their games, to basically put the games out there and make them as mainstream as they can, so they can be very successful financially and SNK can keep growing and keep making better games. So this is only good news. We don't know what is going to happen in the future with all of this. It is absolutely like impossible to predict, but still I wanted to do it because I find it very interesting. So let's just hope, that we can get even more exciting guest characters in the future, and let's enjoy Cristiano Ronaldo in Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. See you on the next video, guys.